Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
I came into this game young and yay tall. From my shop, your bill caught my first day ball. Young and yay tall. From my shop, your bill caught my first day ball. I came into this game young and yay tall. From my shop, your bill caught my first day ball.
You know, money is a motherfucker, you feel me?
Yeah.
If you got money, a motherfuckers think you got money, and you make it look real good, then people gonna flock to where you are. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, if a nigga got money, bitches gonna flock to that nigga.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And where the bitches go, that's where the niggas go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if you got a bunch of hoes calling your motherfucking name, then the niggas gonna start calling your name too, because niggas follow the bitches, because niggas want the bitches and niggas wanna try to impress the bitches. You feel me? So that was a main ingredient as to our recipe with the young gun. We all had motherfucking money. We run around this bitch Lexus and Benz's motherfucking 20s before 20s was even known about. You see what I'm saying? We was selling all the motherfucking bricks throughout the city. And then me, on the other hand, me and my clique, we terrorizing the motherfucking city. We kicking the niggas' door, flipping niggas, fucking niggas up. We catching bodies. So it's like, you know, we them niggas. Actually, we was in the process. We changed the label. King give you the idea. We changed the label because with the Young Gun name, we had some people already owned the name. So we found out that later on in the game. And we also knew that the Young Gun, that name alone, you know, that you know, being coming from some young black guys, street niggas in the street that actually, you know what I'm saying, slinging motherfucking guns in the street for real, it wouldn't be good, you know what I'm saying, for publicity, it wouldn't be good at that particular time. And so what King did, he said, fuck it, we're going to change the name to Corporate Thug. So King changed the name to Corporate Thugs Entertainment. So that's why you hear the CTE, nigga, Corporate Thugging type shit. And we was in the process, actually, I never forget, Jeezy had called me. I was on a run for some murder shit. And Jeezy called me, he was like, bro, you know, man, fucking, I think it was Universal or Sony, one of the motherfuckers was looking at me, wanted to scout me, wanted me, you know, to sign me as a solo independent artist, despite me having been a part of the Big Boy group. They was checking out my records and shit, and they wanted to give me a major deal. But I was on the run, like I say, and I ended up fucking around, getting caught up, and I never could pursue that. So in the process of that shit, the homie said, fuck it, man, you know, he can't really rely on nobody, depend on nobody. So he just started, you know, he really grabbed the mic and started, you know, King B told Jesus, nigga, go ahead and, you know, do your thing. You know, go ahead and motherfucking push. And so he started, you know, making raps and shit, you know what I'm saying, trying to really get his foot in the door. And, you know, he did a great job. He eventually got a major deal in pop.
Go, it's on.
Nigga, West Side Gangsta Crooks for life.
Yeah.
Bad block gangsta. Hands of block. Hands of block. All the way live.
Don't even say nothing, just throw something, just throw it up.
Don't say nothing.
You know what it is, nigga, boy, you nigga young in the Mac, nigga, fucking with the homies, nigga Dub Side, nigga 912, y'all know what it is. We in this bitch, Duncan Blocksburg, raised me. That's why you niggas can't fade me.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb. We on our way to the great state of Georgia with it. Y'all meet us in Macon. Duncan Block to be exact. Y'all play games around here if y'all want. Y'all gonna get smoked around this bitch. Now, today, we are going to be covering somebody that definitely deserves to be covered on Mobb Ties. I got several requests to cover them, but this is probably somebody that I was going to cover originally just because of their connection to the streets and their connection to music. And the gentleman that we're going to be covering today is going to be a guy by the name of Amir Goldmouth Butler. Now, if the name sounds familiar, it might be for multiple reasons. Now, you know here on Mobb Ties, we got much love for Rollo, Free Rollo. Y'all might have heard Goldmouth's name because he's currently helping Rollo run the Fam Goon organization while he's behind bars. So we definitely want to send our best wishes and our prayers to Rollo. I really want to try to get an address so I can give it to y'all so y'all can send y'all mail if y'all want to. But that's just one way you might have heard about Goldmouth. Now, another way I'm sure a lot of people heard about Goldmouth was him being referenced in many Young Jeezy lyrics. And I could think of some offhand. The main one is, you ain't lose mailman and Goldmouth, and you ain't never had a drug task in your house. So if I could take y'all back to that time, right around 2001, Jeezy was flaming definitely in the city of Atlanta, probably all across the nation. And I definitely remember that name, Goldmouth, standing out. And even at that time, I wanted to know more. And now that I know the entire story, it's way crazier than I could have even imagined back then. Now, I did have the pleasure of getting on the phone and chopping it up with Goldmouth, even though he's real busy with the operations that he got going on. But based on that conversation and my research, I definitely determined that this was a story that was Mobb ties worthy. Now, according to an interview that I saw with Goldmouth, he's going to say that he was first introduced to the streets at a very early age, and it was not by his brother, but he noticed that his brother was in the game, though he didn't say his brother taught him. Based on that interview, I did see that he took a lot from seeing that, and it wouldn't be long before the shit would hit the fan for him, because he said he was off the porch by 9 years old, and he would end up catching a double homicide at the age of 13. He did go on to say that that was a really highly publicized case, and he didn't really want to go into details. But could you just imagine an environment where you kind of out in the field at 9, and then you're coming across a situation where you're involved or you got to commit a double homicide at the age of 13? It's kind of mind-blowing. Now, I'm sure a lot of people wonder how he crossed paths with Young Jeezy. Now, he released a book while he was in prison called Life Before Rap that I did get the chance to check out, and I advise y'all to go check it out. Definitely if you're a fan of Jeezy, CTE, and everything that happened before that. And in the book, he would go into detail about that meeting. Now, an important person in the relationship between Goldmouth and Young Jeezy is going to be another guy by the name of Kinky B. Now, if anybody's familiar with CTE, you guys remember Kinky B because his name was also referenced in those same Young Jeezy lyrics. Now, Goldmouth will go on to say that Kinky B was from the area and from the neighborhood of Macon. But Young Jeezy was actually from a city called Hawkinsville, which is about 50 minutes from Macon from what I seen on GPS. And he would say that one day he had a craving for Chinese food and he was with Kinky B. And they would be on the way to go snatching that food to where he was introduced to Young Jeezy through Kinky B. Now, if a lot of y'all remember those early on interviews, or specifically if you might have seen that Young Jeezy Trap or Die DVD, he often talked about being a label head where he was almost essentially forced to rap because the rappers that he had on his label would be always catching charges. And at that time, they had a label by the name of Young Guns. And essentially listening to Goldmouth, he was really the only artist on the label. He said that he was getting money with two other people, a guy by the name of Little Kid and another guy by the name of Kojak. And they would go on to form a group by the name of the Big Boys. But at that time, according to Goldmouth, he was more in the streets than he was in rap. And I can almost feel him because it's essentially hard for somebody to make you believe something that you never seen done before. So by all accounts, he was thugging. And he would tell stories about how him and his homies would pretty much terrorize the city. And he would be a suspect in upwards to 11 homicides, as well as facing a multitude of other charges in the state of Georgia, as well as the state of Florida. And just like how life plays out, by the time stuff started popping off for Young Jeezy in 2001, Goldmouth, who said he was about 19 at the time, would end up having to deal with a lot of those charges. And some of those charges would be attempt murder, armed robbery. He had a shootout with the police. It was a murder that he was fighting. So at the age of 19, he was definitely fighting an uphill battle. Now, according to him, he spanked the charges in Georgia and only had to deal with an attempt murder charge in Florida, which he ended up taking to trial and would end up being sentenced to 35 years in jail. Now, after being given most of that time, as well as seeing your childhood friend kind of rise to stardom, most people would have gave up, but not Goldmouth. I'm not quite sure when during his bid, but he would begin to work on an appeal process. And I did see in an interview where it would be at that time where he would try to contact home to try to get help with an appeals lawyer, and he would run into some kind of issues. And that would essentially force him to take the hustle to prison. Now, if anybody been to prison, matter of fact, you don't even have to be to prison to know this. How many of y'all got niggas locked up that hit y'all on Facebook, call y'all like they right around the corner? Now, the phone system behind the wall is real crazy, and Goldmouth would go on to say that he semi-controlled that. And he also would say that he made a name for himself, and anybody serving in the Florida prison system going to know the name of Goldmouth. And he pretty much ran his numbers up with the operation. He would say that he was a millionaire at the age of 19 based on what he did in the streets. And according to him, he had a as lucrative hustle as the streets while he was locked up. But we all know with hustles come trouble. And he would say he was close to coming home on his appeal, but he continued to run it up with the phones because it was such a lucrative operation. And he would say one day he was going somewhere in the prison and he saw a few guys that he presumed that he was cool with, and one of them proceeded to stab him in the back. And he talked about how once you first get to jail, a lot of times they'll teach you lessons or kind of like them Facebook videos on how to disarm somebody with a knife. And he was able to disarm the dude, and he actually ended up killing some of them in prison. So this story is just movie worthy. And he actually said that he was trying to turn the Life Before Rap book into a movie. So we definitely hope, wish, and we looking out for that. We support anything Goldmouth doing. He was able to come home after serving between 18 or 19 years from that 35-year attempt murder conviction that he was sentenced to in Florida. So he's still out here fighting. He represents Popalot. So y'all go support Goldmouth. Y'all follow him on Instagram. Y'all go check out the book. Y'all make sure y'all check out his album, Designer Trap. I'm going to do everything I can to try to get y'all an interview, to try to bring him on the platform. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, POP_A_LOT. Y'all make sure y'all hit the red subscribe right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. And y'all get in the comment box below. Let me know what gangsters we haven't covered, what cities we missed, what stories we got wrong, all of that. I'm here for it all. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb, Mobb, Mobb.